Hello everyone, Shadefire here, and today I'm taking a first impressions look at a little game called Downwell. I guess you'd call it an action platformer with some rogue-lite elements, in that there are randomized power-ups, or power-ups in the same way that power-ups are in Binding of Isaac. You know, permanent upgrades that last throughout your run, and there are things you unlock at the end of your run based on how well you did. But you'll notice it has a very distinct, simplistic kind of art style, a very two-color sort of thing, as we'll see once we go down well. There are only two real controls to this, left and right. I'm playing this on a controller, a 360 pad, just because it's a little bit easier than the keyboard controls for this. And one button to jump, and if you press the button again when you're in the air, you can fire your Gunboots. And that's really it. You can see the ammo meter on the right there. It goes down as we fire in the air. As soon as you touch the surface, that goes back up. So let's go down well. As I mentioned, there is stuff you unlock, such as different styles, but we'll go with the standard style to begin with. That probably won't last very long, because I'm not very good at this. I put a little bit of time into it already. Alright, so basically, enemies are red, as you can see. However, if the enemy is not entirely shaded red, you can actually just jump on them old-school platformer style. And I took damage from that turtle because I touched its face. Enemies you kill will drop gems, which will fill up our combo meter at the top. And I've already lost 2 hearts. Health is not something you get back easily in this, as it is with, you know, other sort of rogue-litey games. So like that guy here, he's full red, so if I had touched him, I would have took damage without damaging him. So you don't actually lose your gem combo from taking hits. And landed on that guy. Oh, I missed it, but you'll see bubbles like that. Those are little side rooms with different weapon types or shops. We'll try to hit the next one. Or we'll just die, because this game's actually kind of tough. You can see that's kind of our general progress meter that unlocks new stuff. It's literally just the number of gems you collect in your run. Total gems, not final gems. You don't have to worry about spending them or anything. Alright, let's retry. So, I found that playing this with a more devil-may-care sort of frenetic style works better than trying to be slow and cautious. Like, yeah, you're probably going to take hits, but you'll probably also get your gem combo up, and once that hits 100, you get a benefit. So I got a new weapon, a shotgun. You can see we only get 2 shots now, before we need a recharge, but it's much more powerful than the starter gun. Also, when you go into that bubble, you can see time freezes, enemies stop, and your gem combo will stop going down. Now we're gem high, we hit 100, and that powers up our weapons while it lasts, but you have to keep getting more gems to keep it going. Also, taking hits will not, again, affect your gem high. You can shoot through most blocks, as long as they're kind of square like that. You can't shoot through some of the built-in parts of the environment, like that one on the bottom here. These birds are really the thing that gets me in the early areas. Some rooms just have a bunch of gems, which will kind of guarantee a gem high. And that's something you want to try to keep as long as possible, because it really does keep you more powerful, especially once you get into the later areas. What I've seen so far, there's 3 screens per area, and after each screen, or world, or whatever you want to call it, you get a choice of upgrade. And this is where the kind of Binding of Isaac kind of stuff comes in. Though, of course, you get to pick here. Let's see. None of these are too great. Maybe just the member's card? So you'll see shops that will have little things like this. They're one of the main ways to heal, though there are a couple upgrades that will let you heal as well. They also give you charge, which is just the number of shots on the right there, our meter. Also, you can max out your HP. If you'll see under our HP, we actually have 4 bars that you can fill up. Those are like sort of an overheal thing, and if you fill that up all the way, you'll actually get an extra health anyway. An extra total health. So many bats. But I find that the fast pace of this game, it really doesn't feel too bad when you know, die immediately like I did before, because you can just jump right back into it. I find even with like Binding of Isaac, sometimes it'll be like, you know, it doesn't really pick up until you're a couple floors down. But if you're not really on things in this, you can die real quick. Also, something that's disorienting when you first started playing this is that there's no, like, double jump, there's no real air control. You jump once, then you can't do anything in the air except fall. So you're kind of committed when you fall. The only way to really slow down, as you can see, is by shooting. So you'll kind of want to shoot even if there's nothing on screen, just to keep yourself from just plummeting into danger. Bullet casings deal damage. Dot bodies cause them to explode. So this one can heal you, but it's pretty rare. Basically, every time you kill an enemy, they'll leave... Well, not every enemy, but most enemies will leave like a little white corpse version of themselves that you can try to pick up before it disappears. Let's try this one. I haven't actually tried this. Those are just the casings that come off the top. One of the big kind of upgrade types that you may want to invest in is ones that will shoot upward, because, again, you only have these gunboots, you can't shoot above you at all, so that can be a problem trying to position enemies where they're not, you know, above you, which is why those bats are such a pain in the ass. You want to kind of sit here and then jump above them. Turtles are immune to bullets, so you just gotta land on them. Those eye guys are also untouchable, so you can't just land on them. And it seems like the real difficulty as you go deeper in this game is the number of enemies you can't jump on, as well as surfaces that you can't jump on, because they have, you know, floor hazards and stuff, so it's all about making it harder for you to recharge your gunboots as you fall, it seems. And I jumped right into that guy. I think the shading thing is pretty neat. You can kind of see that those slimes are white on top because you can land on top of them, but they're red on the bottom because if you jump into them, you'll take damage. Alright, let's try it with a different style. I'm going to go with Boulder Style because I've had the most success with it so far. Basically just because you start with more health, but you only get to pick between 2 options instead of 3 when you get to the end of a screen. Screen? World? I don't know what to call them. Level, I guess. Okay, that was just dumb of me. I tried to jump from too low. Another shotgun. I'm actually not too fond of the shotgun in this, just because with the frenetic way I try to play it, having only 2 shots means you really gotta plan out your shots. It doesn't work when you just want to fall real quick and keep firing. Better to have one of the faster machine gun type weapons. Alright, got 3 bats on my ass. I mean, with those flying enemies, you have a choice between, do I want to stick around and try to take them out so I don't jump into them, or do I want to just drop faster than they can follow me? Let's go with the corpse exploding. That was always fun in Diablo 2. So you can see, despite my constant failure, this isn't too tough early on. Unless you're constantly jumping into things and not being careful with your shots. Alright, laser is similar to the shotgun in that we only have 2 shots. But of course, it's a straight shot, straight all the way down. Goes right through blocks and everything. find the laser doesn't benefit too much from a gem high. Just widens it a little bit. Not doing well here. So Napi is also kind of a machine gun, but it's sort of a messy machine gun, because it goes all over the place. I guess it just kind of goes back and forth, but... Alright, so Youth will give us 1 health, as well as the ability to choose upgrades. So that'll bring us back to the normal 3, but if we had a different style, we'd have 4. That's not a bad one. Again, it's another power-up that lets you shoot above you without having any other way to do so. Ooh, baby, a triple. Triple is just a spread shot, basically. And we've hit our progress. Ooh, a new style. I have no idea what that does, but I assume it probably makes you fall slower. Let's find out. Floaty. Okay, so yeah, you probably just fall slower with this. Yeah, it doesn't seem too much slower. Though, it's a lot noticeable when you fire your gun. You almost stop completely compared to your normal fall speed. Yeah, it's actually feeling a little bit slower, especially when you're going left and right like that. I can imagine that's helpful, but kind of screw you over in your normal style, because you're used to like, oh, this is how long it takes me to get across the screen or whatever. Shit, I still missed that store. I find I actually take less hits sometimes when using the Boulder Style, because I feel safer with that buffer of extra health than just kind of take risks. Go with the drone power-up. I haven't noticed there's too many power-ups there, but they might actually change as you get further in. I don't know how deep the well is. I don't know. I assume it's probably not too deep. I've only gotten to the second sort of area, the caverns. But I imagine this is not too long, because it's probably meant to be played more than once, obviously, all the way through. This game you replay to do better. You know, this is a game made by a team of 3 people, and they've said in the forums that they don't have any plans for like DLC or expansions or anything like that. But if the game does well, they might, you know, want to add more upgrades and stuff like that, which would be neat. Wow, terrible that time. Let's go back to Boulder and show off the other thing that you can unlock, which doesn't really do anything, but you can unlock different palettes for the game. Obviously, the default is the black and red style. Black, white, and red, I guess. But then you got, like, you know, solid green instead of red, blue, old school Game Boy, Visual Boy, which just it makes you want to stab your eyes out, pastel, which is also pretty bright, umakobcha? Umakobcha? That's definitely not how you pronounce that in actual Japanese, but nuclear, grandma, and I assume there's more than this. I don't think they actually show up until you've unlocked them. But, you know, let's be harsh and go with the Visual Boy style. Just like the actual Visual Boy, this will probably damage your eyes after more than half an hour of constant viewing. Obviously, a big problem with some of these palettes is that they remove the contrast, the, you know, enemies are red, blocks are white kind of thing, as well as the shading on enemies. I mean, with enemies like this in the first screen that I've memorized, it's fine, but obviously, you get to a new area, you don't want to be using one of these the first time, because you'll be like, fucking, I have no idea what I can touch, what I can't touch. But, well, that's pretty much it to Downwell, really. You can see it's not too complicated, obviously. You've only got the very limited controls. It's all about kind of how you want to play it. You know, what kind of weapons you're going to go with, what kind of upgrades you're going to go with. Are you going to go fast? Are you going to go slow? And, you know, for a $3 or $4 game, that's really a lot here. And I find when you're not playing with the horrible visual style, this actually is a, you know, pretty good looking game. I do like that they have the old Game Boy style. Not enough games that try to go with the retro aesthetic that use the Game Boy style. I think there's only like 2 that I can think of. But yeah, that's Downwell. It's pretty fun, pretty fast-paced. Again, you might want to play it with a controller because the 3 controls are kind of awkward with the keyboard, since you're either using arrow keys or you're using A and D plus the spacebar or the right shift, I believe it is. And the shopkeeper doesn't seem too happy that I'm over here. Well, the shopkeeper can just eat a dick. I was hoping he might have something where he gets annoyed. So yeah, you know, pretty cool little game. It's neat to see stuff like this still pop up and actually be interesting and not just more green light garbage. Anyhow, I've been Shadefire, this is Downwell, and I will see you guys down the well once again, some other time. Until then, you folks all take care.